record. I don't know what I'm gonna do with this recording. Maybe I can post it somewhere where people can see it. Maybe oh, there it is, share screen. My computer is picking the wrong night to run super slow. There we go. How's that? You guys see that?
Looks good.
Okay. So a little bit about my philosophy. And by the way, this philosophy, of course, like everything else, is built on years and years of other people's philosophy. One of those people is Coach West. Neil and I have known each other since he coached my younger brother, who's now the Ponte Vedra athletic director. So it kind of dates Neil a little bit. He was really young when it happened. So Neil has certainly been a big part of developing my philosophy over the years, and he's been in and out of Bartram Trail and other schools along the way. But I do obviously want the athlete to be the center of our environment, and this is our mission statement that Bartram Trail Cross Country will create an athlete-centered environment that serves as a center for endurance running excellence and supports the foundation of lifelong character development. And really, those are it. Those are my two objectives. I want to make fast distance runners, and I want to make guys that turn into men that turn out to be great people. And if I just got one of those, clearly I'd love to pick the second. I feel like my high school experience very much helped me become who I am, and hopefully I'm a good person along the way. But I will give a lot of credit to that program. So along those ways, we value, as I've said before, academics, number one. If your son is struggling in the classroom, all it's going to take is an email, a text, coach, help me out. I do not mind giving up practice time to go get some schoolwork done, to get some extra help, to make up a test. 100%, that's going to be an easy one. The only one that's hard to swallow is when kids are scrambling at the end and they knew this project was due and they've got to meet with their group at this last minute. And I just don't believe kids when they tell me, I've got this group project and it's due tomorrow and it was assigned today. There are some wacky teachers out there, but there's not that many of them. So I do hold them their feet to the fire in terms of making sure that they're prioritizing all of their work. But if they need some help, if they're really struggling in a class, we've got to get that straightened out. Trust me, the reduction in stress level for them and for your household is going to make running a lot more enjoyable. And so I prioritize academics. I expect the kids to have the will to win and the passion to work to win. Winning's a lot of fun, and I'm a competitive guy, and so that I'm not a win at all cost guy, but that's a big part of what we do. Respect and integrity. Respect themselves, number one, and have the integrity to show that respect for other people. I believe in the human spirit. I believe these kids can do things that I don't necessarily think they can when they first come out. And the most amazing kids are the ones that impress you, that beat your expectations, and that's because of that human spirit. I do believe in the idea of being proud and humble at the same time. I know that sometimes that they can be conflicting, but humility, the ability to be happy for your teammates, the ability to take a loss, to take a lesson from that is huge. And I hope that these kids are different people on the way out for the good. I hope that they've had some sort of transformational experience. And I really hope that that you guys bleed off that a little bit, and maybe through your connections with the other parents and maybe even with me, that you guys got something out of the program too. I really actually feel as part of the mission, even though it's not in there, that it's kind of a family experience. Okay, all right. So here are my general expectations. Practice schedule is fluctuates from time to time. One of the things I'm going to ask you to be is flexible this season. I'm constantly hearing different things from athletic directors, from St. Johns County, from the FHSHAA, and so I am playing rubber balls bouncing off of walls sometimes. And at the end of the day, I keep telling them, just make sure we get the season in some way, somehow. So obviously very thrilled that in all of this stressful environment, we're on our way. The season officially started this week, and we're excited. We're ready to go. Excused versus unexcused. I put these in one of my updates a couple weeks ago, maybe last week. Listen, if it's excused for school, it's excused for practice. It's fairly straightforward. Clearly, I understand the kids have dentist appointments and doctor's appointments. Do your best to schedule them away from practice and meet times. But I have my own kids. I know how getting a dentist appointment is. Once you got it, don't give it up. So I only ask that the kids communicate that with their coaches, either with me or Coach Brown or Coach West, depending on what group they're in. I'd prefer them to do that face to face. Second option is on the phone. Give me a call. Third option is text. I hate getting bad news over text. Coach, I can't be there tomorrow. I got a dentist appointment. Listen, if it's 10:30 at night and your mom just walked in your room and told you have a dentist appointment, okay, I get it. But I try to tell the kids, let's be proactive in that. We can work around those things. Great thing about distance running is you can train right from your driveway. So not a huge deal in that case. I've got weight room on there. I don't know why. I don't think we're going to get in there. So I'm kind of stealing some old slides. But one year when I was coaching the girls, I had a girl tell me that she couldn't come to practice because she was going to get her nails done on a Friday for prom on Saturday. And as you can imagine, that fit in the unexcused category. So hopefully the boys aren't having to go get their nails done. Meet day. We're still talking through our process of meet day. We have to screen every kid every day. And on meet day, that's going to be a little bit more cumbersome. We're at a different place most of the time. And I don't necessarily know that I want the kids there too early, hanging around, and I don't want the kids there too late. We won't be having many award ceremonies this year. I think meet directors have all agreed that we're going to cut that part out. I think we're going to go with a model of, if your race is at this time, we expect you to be there an hour before. We'll communicate that. And then when you're done, cool down, check out with your coach, and we'll have more digestion when we get back to practice. I really want to limit the amount of minutes that we're at these events. And that is always for efficiency, really. But in this case, it's to avoid obvious risks as it relates to COVID. So I don't know what we're going to do about buses, or if we're going to have buses. Buses are great because they allow us all to get there as a group. Everybody's on time. But when they drive themselves, or when you bring them, then there's the flexibilities. If you don't run till 9 o'clock, you don't got to be at the bus at 5 o'clock. You can get a couple more hours of sleep. You're not sitting around a meet exposed to all those people unnecessarily. So transportation to and from meets is still being talked about, but we may ask you guys to bring the kids yourself. Right? So that's still in discussion. Varsity letter criteria is on the website, and there's two parts of that. How they earn their varsity letter, I think they had to run in, I have to double check it, a certain number of varsity meets. And sometimes we bring 2 teams to a varsity meet, and that counts. Or you got to be part of the varsity travel squad at the end of the year, or you've got to at least run maybe at district. We run a few more people at districts than we do at the regional stadium. So you make an appearance as as a participant in the race, you're going to earn a varsity letter. And then there was some other stuff in there. If there's any end of the season awards, how are you eligible for those things? Right now, we've got in our black and blue groups, which are our top groups, we've got well more than 10 kids. And when we get to the postseason, we're not going to travel all of those kids. We're not going to bring all of those kids. We wouldn't anyways, even in a regular season. But I just want the kids to make sure that they understand. They go to the website, they see that varsity criteria, so there aren't any questions at the end of the year. I tell the kids, if I can get you to run every day, you're going to be a good runner. If I can get you to get 8 to 9 hours of sleep every night, you're going to be a great runner. I really think that sleep is the next best thing besides running to make them a good runner. I think that's probably true for all sports. I need your help. I need your help making sure that they're in bed. I know it sounds crazy, but when they're getting up, they probably need to be in bed by 9 or 10 o'clock, or at least in their bed, maybe watching a little TV or doing a little homework in bed. If their feet are up and the lights are low, that's kind of on the way to sleeping. So it's tough. I'm a night owl. I don't like to go to bed early, but I absolutely will feel it if I stay up past 10 o'clock. So if you can find a role to make sure these kids eat well and enough and sleep, you are coaching just as much as the rest of us, I can guarantee you. I'm hoping on Friday that we'll be able to hand out lockers. We need to meet with the PE coaches to get each kid a locker room assignment this Friday at practice or right after practice. Showers are available before school. I'm going to ask the older group to actually meet at 6:20. We're going to try to get practice done by 8 o'clock. So if you can drive in that older group, if you want to go home and shower and you're more comfortable with that, I'm sure you probably are. I want that to be an option. If you want to stay and shower at school, that's clearly an option too. I don't know the exact maintenance procedures in that locker room, but it's being cleaned every day. And I can't say that it wasn't always cleaned every day, but there is more attention to it. That's for sure. So if they need a locker, we'll talk about that. They may have to come with $5 for a locker. I can't remember if they give them out or they charge them $5. I don't let the kids keep their bags in my room. I don't want smelly running shoes in my classroom. Most of them like to keep it in their cars, so a lot of kids don't take that locker. Showering in the locker room. If the older kids are not in the locker room, I'm a little nervous that there's not enough sort of mature kids policing that locker room. I don't go in there. The PE guy, his office is right there adjacent to it. And so I'm sure he's got to deal with the hijinks that may come up in a boys' locker room. God bless America. So I'd like to think all of our kids are great and they don't get into those stupid teenage goofy situations. But I do think for the most part, listening to my kids, that our kids do process themselves through the locker room quickly, efficiently, in, out, shower, and people leave with the same dignity on the way in as they have on the way out. If that's not the case, then we certainly need to address it, and we haven't had any issues in the past, but I'm always worried about it. Communication. So you've already done the athleticlearance.com. That takes a lot of paperwork off of the desks of the middle managers at school and for me. I know it's kind of a bit of a pain in the rear. I know as a parent, I'm logging in and having to do all these things for my kids as well. But if you're not getting email updates, then your email is not correct in Athletic Clearance. So you may want to log back into your account, make sure that the email for both mom and dad or parent one and parent two are in there and they're correct. I can't change, I can't add. I do all my emails through the Athletic Clearance infrastructure. So you guys can manage that. And then what happens is when your kid graduates and you don't continue to get emails from me. If you have concerns or questions, please go to the correct coach. I talked to a parent just today, and I have zero problem talking to you guys at any time, especially if it's issues that you have specific concerns with. But do me a favor and go to Coach West or Coach Brown for the ancillary things, like what is there a change to practice schedule? Johnny is feeling this way. What do you think? I'm always available. You can always email me. You can always text me. But I'd like to get those guys in the loop as well. And so if you can go to them first, that would be great. A lot of information I try to put on the website, and I will send out the link to our iCalendar. If you open up that link from your smartphone, whether you have an iPhone or not, it will automatically populate a lot of our cross-country and track dates, things like tonight's parent meeting and meets, right into your phone calendar. That's very handy. Also, I don't know if I didn't see him here, but Coach White, Adrian, it's Jahari and Jelani's dad. He is our recruiting coordinator. He called me up last summer and this past summer, he says, Coach, what do you think about me being the recruiting coordinator? And I said, well, we never had a recruiting coordinator. Let me check the files and see all the other people that have applied for recruiting coordinator. And turns out you're it, buddy. So Coach White has been, if you follow the track Twitter account, you've been seeing all of this connectivity between us and different colleges. It's really, really awesome. If your kids want to run in college, there is guaranteed a place they can run in college. I can't guarantee they'll get a scholarship. I can't guarantee it's going to be cheap. But he is making contacts of schools that I've never really even thought of. Had a great conversation 2 nights ago with the coach from Virginia Wesleyan. Great guy. And Wesleyan. And I never would have had that contact if it weren't for Adrian doing that. If you are interested in running college and you are a junior or a senior, email Coach White. I will again include with the iCalendar link, I'll put Coach White's, Adrian's email in there. Send him your information. He will help sell you. He is doing this because I promised I'd buy him a 6-pack of Stella. But he's just really excited about it, and I'm excited that he's excited about it. All right. College testing dates. Nobody got a chance to do these tests in the spring, so I'm assuming there's some pressure. My own senior, Dylan, has not taken his test. I have to sign him up for that September 26th SAT tonight. I found out tonight is the last day to sign up for this September 26th SAT. I will tell you, good dates to take are right here. Okay, if you can, I don't know if you probably can't sign up for the one on September 13th. That's probably passed. Saturday 10/24 and Sunday 10/25. That doesn't look right. I think it's 10/25 and 10/20. Either way. Oh no, that's October. So there's two they're offering that weekend, and that weekend is an off weekend for the varsity, and it is JV champs. So you may want to sign up for the Sunday one. SAT, the 10-3 weekend is bad. We got a big race potentially out in Tallahassee. We're not allowed to take an overnight trip, but we might get up early and go out and run the state meet course. And the varsity and the JV is also going to be running that weekend. So if you can avoid 10-3, that would be great. There's another SAT on 12/5. So here are your SAT and ACT dates. I will tell you, if you are a parent of a junior and you think it's imperative that your kid take the SAT or ACT, as a teacher at 25 years, I'm gonna tell you, you are misinformed. It's not imperative. To be honest with you, unless they want early enrollment, you don't need to take an SAT before the midway point through your senior year, to be quite honest with you. I know that sounds crazy. If you're a top-notch student and you're trying to get into an Ivy League, all right, different strategy maybe there. If you think taking the SAT multiple times is going to change your world and you don't do anything in between them, you are uninformed. So if you take the SAT your junior year and you don't like it, and so you're going to try to take it again your senior year, and you don't take an SAT prep class, that kid doesn't sit there and look at one of those books for 3 weeks, they're going to get the same score within a few points. So I wanted to take some burden off your shoulders about worrying about some of these sort of things. And this, again, I've seen my students go through it. I've got my own kids going through it. And the only way they're really going to get better at taking one of those, doing one of those tests, is taking one of those classes, to be quite honest with you, or sitting down with those books and having the dedication to do that. All right, so moving along, AD's discussion. This is where Ben usually comes in and he reminds the kids about our athletic code of conduct and about our booster club. I'm going to talk about our booster club here in a minute. Last track season, we had a kid that held a party, and there were a number of track athletes that went to that party. It's not me, it's the athletic department. I don't investigate this stuff. I'm not saying that I wouldn't. I just say that this is something that they specifically take off the shoulders of coaches, so it's beyond our control. The athletic department spends some amount of time, not a huge amount of time, investigating information that's presented to them. They don't go looking for it. They see something on the internet, they see something on social media. In this particular case, during track season, there was a police report written up, and it had the name of a couple track athletes in it. These track athletes go into this procedures where they're going to be suspended for 10% of the season. They still come to practice. They can't compete for 10% of the season, which is a cross-country meet in our sport. And there's really no wiggle room. If they're at a party and there is any alcohol or drugs at that party, they have 5 minutes to get out of there by the time they find it out. And as Mr. Wendell says, if you walk up to the house and there's 50 cars at the house and there's kids on the roof, probably shouldn't go in. Like, you know what's going on in there. So there is a guilty by association component to the athletic code of conduct, and this is what kids need to be aware of. And I have terrible fears that my own kids are going to end up in these situations, and it's going to be hugely embarrassing for me as an employee of the school. But there will be no leniency just because I'm an employee. These sort of things come right from the county. They're beyond the school's control, to be honest with you. So just know that is one of the things. Other parts of that code of conduct were how we expect kids and parents to behave and act at competitions, and in cross country and track, it's not an issue. Sometimes you go to a soccer game, parents get a little chatty. You go to a girls' basketball game or a boys' basketball game, and there's not a whole lot of people in the stands. You can really hear that one guy giving the ref the business. These are sort of things that the athletic department may pull a parent to the side and say, "Hey, you need to represent you need to represent Bartram Trail a little bit better. You probably want to represent yourself a little bit better here too. So we have, knock on wood, never had a problem with the athletic code of conduct in boys cross country. When I was coaching girls cross country, we had a problem one time, and that's what started some of this athletic code of conduct stuff. But it's really not a big issue right here. We need to make sure we're on the same page. All right. By the way, if that suspension comes during the postseason, it comes during the postseason. If that comes after the season and the kid is not graduating, he has to serve that suspension at the beginning of the next season. So there is no getting around it unless you're a senior and you're done with sports. Okay. No team travel. This is a wonderful picture of the girls. This is where I had a slide in where we were going to Great American. The county has told us we are not allowed to take any overnight travel this year. I'm saddened by this. It stinks. I had an idea to go to Michigan and run a big race up in Michigan this year. And I figured very early on that was probably not going to happen. But Great American, all that sort of stuff is not an option. I'm still hoping to go out to Tallahassee. We're going to leave in the morning, at least take some of the varsity guys out there on that morning. Okay. Booster Club. Our booster club is Dave Papa could give this speech. He's heard it now 8 times in a row, probably 16 times in a row between cross country and track and his 2 sons playing sports. The booster club, I think is great. I think our model is great. We are a booster club for the entire athletic department. This really creates a family unit. And we do our best as adults, as administrators, to try to give teams what they need and help out different groups at different times. And it's easy for me to say, oh, well, look what they're doing at baseball. Look what they're doing over there for the football kids. And I can forget what they do for us in cross country and track. That we've got a great new track shed that, quite frankly, was paid for out of athletics, which was funded in part by Booster Club. Booster Club is just a money source for athletics. Athletics makes most of the decisions about every dollar raised, whether it's gate fees, where the athletic department gets a big chunk of their money, or pay to play fees, which we're going to talk about in a minute. These are the 2 revenue sources. I am proud to say that both cross country, track, and football are the 3 revenue generating sports. In other words, we generate more revenue than the athletic department spends on us. And I like that. I'm proud of that. I'm proud that we can host events and create events and contribute to other teams that don't have that luxury, maybe like a volleyball team or something like that. So we're not that revenue positive in cross country track, but football is really the big one. But I technically try to put us in that category, maybe just disingenuously, but we do a great job hosting those events. So they pay for transportation, operating expenses, meet expenses. Every meet has an entry fee. Field maintenance. We run on these fields. They all get mowed. They all get fertilized. Facility upkeep, like I was saying, like things, weed killer gets put down most of the time. Things are taken care of very, very well at our facility, and I don't have to do hardly any of this. In fact, every once in a while I'll pick up the weed killer sprayer and I'll help the guy out a little bit. He thinks it's the greatest thing ever that I spent 30 minutes trying to help him out. But I really don't do much of it at all. So we forget how much it costs to run an athletic department. And it's just not about putting the jerseys on the kids' backs. It's just not about transporting and paying for officials. There's all sorts of other overhead that, as you can imagine, any business mind would think of. It's really not as good as it all looks. So the only thing the athletic department does not pay for is coaches' stipends, and quite frankly, that comes right from the county. And so that's just kind of a whole other issue. Okay. So we are going to have another race to honor. I'm trying to throw this together. We've got about a week to plan it. And last year's race to honor was at the Balance Trail. You got the jerseys there that Jemsu and Jelani are wearing on the top left. And so we're going to do the same thing. Maybe get a different color jersey, get some BT on it. We are going to sponsor some heroes and put those on the back of the kids' jerseys. We'll have another picture of that here in a minute. But I'm following the football team's lead. They decided that their honorees this season were going to be first responders. And I thought, certainly given the current climate of COVID, first responders, especially healthcare workers, what a great way to honor them. And so with our race to honor this year, I'm going to have another baseball cap to hand to the sponsorer. And so the kid will run in a jersey, and they'll have on the back your honoree. Maybe you have a firefighter, or a police officer, an EMT in your family that you would love to sponsor and get their name on the back of the jersey that they wear that day. These kids still wear these jerseys to practice. Maybe not those, because they had to pin them up, and I ordered them a little big. But and then you get a hat that you can give to your honoree. I'm in the midst of designing how to be a black hat this year. It'll have some sort of recognition piece on the front, sort of BT with first responders, and then sort of race to honor 2020 on the back. But I'm hoping that of that $100, of course, I got to buy those jerseys, got to get those hats. That we raised over $1,000. Maybe doesn't sound great. I think we actually raised $2,000 now I think about it. To give to some veterans groups last year. Last year's race to honor, as you remember, was military veterans. And so 2 years ago, the football team did cancer survivors or people with cancer, or people that died of cancer, in sort of a remembrance. And so I like the idea of kind of flipping around every couple of years who we're honoring at our races, and maybe distributing some of that money that we raise. But I don't have a fundraiser for the team. There's no big projects out there. I always think that I want to like spend money on our cross country course and really add some components to it. Maybe some chip trails, maybe some permanent signage. And I was ready to do that this year, and then COVID hit, and it just became a thing that got pushed back again. So I don't have a team capital fundraiser like we do in track. This is it. And maybe it's not right to raise money for another group. Of course, that sounds silly now that I say that, but maybe you don't agree with that. But I will tell you that this was a big hit last year. I've got 25 jerseys that I'm looking to get sponsored. And so if you're interested in that, and I will send out this information as well. Jeff Hemmen, Nolan's dad, has agreed to collect all that information. And you can choose the athlete that you would like to sponsor. I encourage you to sponsor someone who's not your kid. I would love to have some interconnectivity between families and kids. I would love to see Gemsu running with Patricia Frank's name. That's my mom, and she was a healthcare worker, she's now retired, for years and years and years. And I'd love to see that name on the back of another kid's jersey or something like that. So if you want to sponsor your own kid, by all means, if your father, your husband, your wife is a police officer, and you want their name on there, that sounds great. I don't have a definition for what a first responder is. I actually Googled first responder. I mostly came up with firefighters, police officers, and EMTs. So if you feel like there's another first responder out there that does something, maybe a FEMA worker, or someone in the Coast Guard, or someone in the National Guard, by all means, you pick it. You tell me who the first responder is. I don't have any parameters for that. I'm going to let the sponsor choose the honoree, and the sponsoree will be the kid wearing that jersey. So I'm looking forward to that. I'll get more information to you via email on the race to honor. So here's the money slide. Look at Jahari's face. He's so excited to see. That might be the face that a parent looks at the money slide. I'm not sure. You got the team shop. That closes tonight. I'm going to have that link here at the end of this slideshow. Things they need at the team shop. Well, here's the things they need. They need a straight black warm-up jacket. They need black pair of warm-up pants. If you have that warm-up jacket and warm-up pants from another season, a track season, I always go with black so that the kids don't have to get a new one every year. If you already have them, great, you got it. You do not have to buy a new one. If you've got black warm-up pants from Dick's or Walmart, great, I don't care. Try to get the Barsham Trail black jacket, okay? Also, you need a pair of race shorts. Jelani's wearing the blue race shorts. Jahari's wearing the blue race shorts right there. Everybody needs a pair of black race shorts. The older guys also need a pair of blue. They like to change up their jerseys. It's really kind of fun. So if they already have black and blue race shorts, and they're that specific Nike cut right there, they got to match everybody else, or pretty close to that, then they're good. They don't need more race shorts. The only thing that everybody absolutely needs is this year's long sleeve shirt. So you'll see on there, it's a black long sleeve shirt. I need everybody to get that. This is for meet day protocol. I like everybody to look like a team. We're gonna look the same warming up. We're gonna look the same racing. We're gonna look the same cooling down. This is a big thing for me. Really, it's the only thing they absolutely need. I've got other things on there. Racing spikes. You can get the racing spikes anywhere you want. I don't care which ones you get. Those are actually a pretty good deal on racing spikes. Um, if you want some of those shirts or jackets or sweatshirts, go for it. It's all team oriented stuff. Anybody can get anything. Once again, they need black race shorts at a minimum, every kid. If you want to get the black, if you're JV, just want to get the black racing shorts from Dick's or whatever, as long as they're straight black or they already have a pair of black, then that's fine. They need the Nike ones for the varsity guys. Varsity guys need the blue racing shorts. Everybody needs a black jacket. Everybody needs black pants. Everybody needs that black long sleeve shirt. All right. I'm also going to I gave them this shirt this year for some summer mileage. I'm hoping to still give out some more as kids come up on that mileage mark for 300 miles. I'm going to give them another blue shirt that we're going to spend, that we're going to pay for out of some of the money we raise going to those fundraisers, like the River Run and things like that. Okay. Pay to participate is $150. This is all done online. I will send out that information. That's $50 more than it has been, but everybody's very, 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 very worried about revenues coming in this year, and we're on, the football gate is only going to be able to collect a certain amount because they're limiting the number of attendees to like 30% or something like that, 50%. I don't know. So everybody's very worried about revenue coming in. We will have less revenue coming in at Bale and Trail because we're limiting the size of that as well. So to compensate for that, the pay to participate fee for this year is $150. And there is a general expectation that every family joins the booster club. You only have to join it once a year. So if you're a cross country and track kid, which pretty much you are, this is $75 per family. That's it. If you got multiple kids on multiple teams, it's just $75. Our booster club is great. To be quite honest with you, I expect everybody to join the booster club. I don't really know how else to say that without telling you to join the booster club, but I guess I kind of did. And then I'll have, we collect $10 from everybody for a big boot stomp. You'll get more information about that. That's their Booster Club's big fundraiser, and they ask every team to donate a basket that gets auctioned off. And so we collect $10 from everybody, and I'll have a parent assigned to do that. Okay, so let me tell you, if you've ever paid for travel ball, if you ever played for you played for anything more than rec league, that's not a bad cost for a season, to be very honest with you. So I got to pay out, but I don't feel like it's onerous. That being said, if you need help, please. No one's gonna tell your kid they can't run. All right. So where do we need your help? Well, I'm coming down to my last few slides. There's the back of those special jerseys. You can see the names on the back. I need your help volunteering. I need the kids' help volunteering. We've got the Thanksgiving Day half marathon. We got the Jacks Bank marathon. Those will happen. Well, actually, I don't know if they're gonna happen, but if they do happen, they're gonna happen in November, and they're gonna happen in December. So we can kind of kick those cans down the road a little bit. I need parent liaison with the booster club. I need a separate parent to be the collector of those $10 and build that basket. Okay, for you new parents, I know I'm going quick. With this, usually there's some junior and senior parents that jump in and do that. At Bale and Trail, I'll need somebody to take care of coaches, and I forgot to change that. It will be first responder hospitality. All first responders, going to invite them into the hospitality tent. I need people for course marshals. Part of course marshals is going to be encouraging slash telling people that if they're going to be in the stadium facility, they have to wear a mask at the Bale and Trail. We're not going to open concessions at Bale and Trail. We're going to try to limit the amount of time people are on. We don't need to be here selling hot cocoa. Send them on their way. But we will be having football concessions, and we will need parents to sign up for football concessions. I've nixed the spaghetti dinners this year for obvious reasons, but I will need help planning an end of the season banquet or picnic or something like that. Usually we do that in December or maybe even early January. So that's where I need you. I'll have someone put together a sign up genius over the next week, and just know that I can't do this without you guys. I'd love to have another parent social night. Again, I don't know how we're going to do that given the situation, but it was a lot of fun last year. We went up to the pizza place up in Fruit Cove and did that. So here's my last slide. That's the Booster Club website. I know you can't click on it right now. I should try to make some links, and maybe I'll make some links and send them to you in an email. That is that's not BSN. It's the eSpace store. I forgot to change that title. We switched vendors. I ordered Laura's stuff already, and I got an email saying it's on its way. That sounds amazing to me. But Eastbay says they're going to be quicker than BSN, so we'll find out. So there's the link to the Team Shop store where you can get that gear that I was talking about. So I'm going to leave these links up and go to Carl. How we do?
So we had one public service announcement that
Okay.
First Coast Sports is doing a Spike month this year instead of Spike night. So that's our PSA. And we had one question during the presentation, which is whether or not the race on Saturday is allowing spectators. And I'm going to add to that and say or ask if we know what the spectator policy is, or when there will be an announcement around spectator policy for other races.
I can only give you some of the scuttlebutt that I've heard. I think first of all, this Saturday is just essentially a practice session. If you want to come out and watch the boys, it'll be fine. It's just Bartram Trail people. So no problem if you want to come out this Saturday. I encourage it. It would be great. Bring your mask. You know, if there's no one around, you don't have to wear it. But if you're gonna have conversations with people, please wear your mask. Generally, for Balin Trail, we're gonna ask families to limit their spectatorship. No one has given me a number. No one is probably going to send you away. I think what they might do is in the stadium, they might have a clicker and they might say there's only 600 people allowed in the stadium. You can watch the cross country race from the starting area, from the road. I think there's going to be a general encouragement to like stay in your car until your kid races, then come out and watch them, then go back to your car. That would be a really, really great communal way of sharing that space. Kind of stinks. I suggest that parents maybe set up a little tailgate area out in the parking lot, and you guys can, meet each other. I know a lot of times people like to see each other. They're looking forward to Saturday morning. They want to see the other parents, share some coffee. I always think it's a great idea. And maybe we do that. Maybe we have our own little area out in the parking lot, so we're away from the other teams and away from the headache of that meet director who's probably very, very worried that First Coast News is going to see there's going to be a picture on the internet, and First Coast News is going to put it on, oh, there was 1,000 people out at Bartram Trail today and no one had their mask on. Like, that is what everyone is super worried about. And I know that maybe sounds a little disingenuous. We should probably be worried about people getting sick, and we're worried about how it might look, but clearly it's a worry. So I don't know. That's a really good question about the spectators, but please, I'll pump that information out to you as we go each week. That's part of that flexibility request. I'm assuming you're going to be able to see your kids race. I am. There might be some parameters that they ask you to do. Yeah, so I didn't know about Spike Night. Use a Spike Night. I like Spike Month. Go to First Place Sports. I live right down the street from one of the Bay Meadows, but it sounds like you're the one at the town center, which is probably maybe a little closer for you guys. And tell them you run for Bartram Trail. They'll always give you 10% off if you tell them you run for Bartram Trail. And I think Spike Night, or usually they give you 20 or 25% off. So you probably even get a better deal with spikes there. But the Team Shop spikes are about as cheap as you can find spikes. The Nike spikes on there, I think were like $60 or something like that. I'm getting those for Dylan, the one from the Team Shop, which closes tonight. Did I mention this shop closes tonight? That's it. Like, if you don't get in, forget it. We're putting the orders in, and I think they're going to mail it right to your house, so I don't have to wait on that secondary part. Okay, Carl, any more questions?
One additional one. The date of the Balin Trail, is it 19th, September 19th?
It's still the 19th. Yes. So all of this kicking back the season, we're still within the window of our normal date, or our predetermined date, I should say. So September 19th. That's it. All hands on deck. We'll need all parents helping out, probably on some level there. So I'm excited about it. I've got a good plan for how to handle that meet. We are limited. We usually have about 35 teams. We're going to be down to about 22 teams that day. And I'm looking forward to it. I really like this challenge of being able to run these kids through these meets and try to keep them separated. We're going to run a couple extra races and and I think it'll be good. I think we'll be fine.
Perfect.
Okay.
That's it.
Well, Carl, thank you very much for helping me there. I appreciate it. And thanks everybody for stopping in. If you have any more questions and you want to stick around, please do. If not, shoot me an email and we will try to get all your questions answered. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a good season.
Thanks, Coach.
Hey, you don't look like Taja.
Yeah, I'm not, Coach.
Now we know who the
Yeah, he does.
one is in that house.
All right.
It's definitely not me.
All right. Thanks a lot, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Thanks a lot, Coach.
All right.
All right. Take care, everybody. Go Bears.
Go Bears.
Go Bears.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
See you soon.
See you soon.